The simple yet not so simple box. I apologize if you can hear some dogs, but this is about as real as it gets in my shop. I even have my door open because, of course, this smells like polyurethane, and my dog wants to play fetch. So this is what it's like when it's not staged. Welcome to the shop. Hi, this is Jesse at Generations Woodcraft. Thank you so much for watching the video today. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that what brought me into woodworking was I wanted to make an urn for my parents. I lost both of them in the same year. My dad was a master craftsman. He could do pretty much anything with his hands. He made cabinets, he made displays for big corporations. This is my parents right here. And so I wanted to, I don't know, I guess just make something special. It was a way for me to grieve. And I made this horrific thing that's not even being used for that. The finish is ugly. You can see why I did not get the glue out. I routered, I got chips on there. I routered this, both sides on one end. And right here, you can even see that it is falling apart because I didn't even know what kind of glue to use. So needless to say, that horrendous thing, I use it because I'm not going to waste anything, but my parents aren't in there. This is the third time I've tried to do it, and basically an urn is a box. A box should be one of the first things you take your time to make. You can make boxes for pretty much anything. I've made some boxes already. I'm hoping this one, the third time trying to make it, is going to be the urn that I am happy with. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to mill up some Purple Heart and Walnut, because those are the two colors I wanted to use. So we have finished milling these. They are almost to the exact height, width, and length that I want, leaving myself a little bit of room after glue up to square them up, tighten them up, the whole 9 yards. So what we're gonna do now is to glue up. All right, so it's been a couple days. I had other things I had to do, so I'm back in here now. We're gonna go ahead and take these over to my portable workbench. We're gonna clamp them down, and then we're going to take the glue off using a chisel. So after you take off the glue, you notice this isn't flat. I made a mistake. So here, this end, because my clamping technique was not perfect, you can tell there's a little bit of an arc here. Now that's no problem because I made these things thick, long, and wider than they need to be so I can make up for any errors that I have. So I'm going to show you how I would go about fixing that. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my 3/4 inch piece of MDF that I have on the side of my planer. I use this as the table, and the other side I use for this exact purpose. All you need is blue tape, a little bit of glue, and some accelerator. If you spend any time on YouTube, you know this trick, so let me do it real quick and I'll be right back. after I get this one side flat and smooth, I'm going to go ahead and run it through, and I'm going to get this side, I'm going to pencil it. I'm going to run it through till it disappears. Then I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to pencil it. I'm going to run it through till it disappears. And then I'm going to do that on every single one in succession, so then that when I run the last one through, they are all the same side and there's no pencil marks on any of them. And whatever that size is, I'm fine with it. I put extra in here, but if I did my math right, it should be about a 1/2 inch. I'm stopping in between because I want to let you know during that time-lapse video, it dawned on me that you're probably sitting there typing in the comments, why is dust everywhere? The Dust Collection port that's supposed to attach to that, I'm an idiot. Somehow I lost the screws, so I'm in the process of getting new ones, but I didn't want it to slow me down today, so I figured I'll just sweep it up after. Don't recommend it. Make sure you have Dust Collection hooked up because it is everywhere, and I should have had my dust mask on, which I'm going to put down. So they're parallel now. Took some calipers to them. They are just a fraction above a half, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch. So that works fine for me, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this pencil, I'm going to take my sander, and on each side, just one time, I'm going to scribble pencil on there. Once the pencil's gone, I'll move on to the next spot so it's even, and I'm going to sand both sides. So even though my snipe is almost completely gone, but there's a little bit there because it's never perfect, that sanding usually gets rid of it, and then it'd be right at a 1/2 inch. All right, so we're actually taking this in a couple steps because I'm doing mitered edges on here, and I need to come at 45. I want to make sure I have a 90-degree edge first. So we're whipping out the crosscut sled just to get a 90. First off, make sure that your blade is just a little bit over the line, and of course, you know, if you have a crosscut blade, make sure you use it. And then when I cut this, I should get a perfect 90. Now, after that, what we're going to do is set our table to 45, and I get it all the way to 45 using my 45 setup block. Then I add just a little bit of a turn. I got this trick from 4 Eyes over on YouTube, and basically what it does is it guarantees that your outside of your miters will touch, even if the insides have a little bit of room for the glue to go in. You're not talking a lot off of 45, just a smidge. Off camera, I glue up some walnut. This still needs to be processed, but this is going to be for the base. For the lid, which is what we're going to work on next, I did some Purple Heart, glued it together. Looks like my machine's got some snipe today, so I'm going to have to adjust it, but we're going to go ahead and sand that out. And when I cut it at an angle, you won't even see it anyways. So when it comes to the lid, this is not glued up yet. This is just put together with tape so I can make sure that everything's squared. What we're going to do now is I'm going to take the tape off of here, and then I'm going to run a dado near whichever part I want to be the top of the box. That's going to be big enough to have the lid in there. Then we're going to glue everything up, including the lid, together in one piece. So let's get to that. So let me show you real quick what I am doing before I glue it up. I'm putting it together real quick to see what it looks like. A few things I want to do before I glue it up. First off, I'm going to go ahead and hit the miters with a really light sanding to make sure there's nothing in there. The miters are fairly tight, but there's just a little bit of work on there. Two, I put a decorative design on the top. You can kind of see it right there. I thought I was recording this, but apparently it did not record, so I'm going to really quickly show you how I did that. Now, this is not the safest way to do it, but I do have some feather boards that I put here, stackable ones, so they were sitting up about that high off. And then I took it, put this at an arbitrary angle, just whatever I thought it looked nice, and then I ran the boards through this way on all four sides. Then after that, I just made sure that they fit into the dados, and I just kept moving the fence in just a tad in until it fit, and I liked the way it looked, and there you go. That's how I did that. Now, before I do the glue up, I am going to, and what you're going to see me do is fill the knot holes, the cracks. What I got was called rustic walnut. I love the way it looks, but I do have to put some care into the wood. So what you're going to see is me using, you won't see it up close, but I'll be using CA glue. I use the thin CA glue to fill in the cracks, and then I'll spray it with the accelerator, and then most of the void is filled. Then you will see me use the glue and sawdust trick to fill it in, sand everything down, and then I will use the tape to glue it up. Now, this part of the video is where I was going to tell you how I did my base, but you will see right about here a link to a video if you haven't already seen it. It's all about mistakes, and I made a huge mistake on the base. So instead of rehashing it after this video or during, totally up to you, feel free to see what happened with the base and how I ended up fixing it. Now that I have the base fixed, what we're going to do is go into finishing the box. So this is how I sand everything that I'm thinking of putting a finish on. I do rough 80 all the way around to get rid of any of the big things like dried up glue and stuff like that. Assuming that's already been taken care of, then basically what I do from there is everything goes from 120 to 150 to 220. After I do the 220, I pop the grain, spritz some water on there, let it dry. Then I go back and I go 120, 150, 220. I think it's 320, and then 400 is the last one that I do, and it's smooth. We're talking cutting board smooth. Now I just need to finish it, and for me, for this, I'm just going to put some wipe on poly, let it dry, and then I am going to put a little bit of a scuff on there, and then do some wipe on poly again. All right, so anyone watching this video, my awesome subscribers, anyone who's come across it, you are witnessing closure when it comes to, I got into woodworking for one thing and one thing only, that was to make this urn. Over almost 2 years later, and my third time, I'm finally happy with it, but my journey in the shop is just beginning, and you will see almost all of it. My builds, my successes, my failures, and honestly, I can't think of a better way to do this. You guys are awesome, and I'm so glad you were here with me when I finally was able to get closure with this one task that's been kind of looming over my head. To watch the rest of the journey, please make sure that you subscribe, press the bell if you haven't already. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Both of those are in the link. And then if you'd like extra content, you can go to Patreon. That link is there as well, as long with the tiers and everything special that you get in the tiers. Once again, my name is Jesse. My goal anytime that I do a video is just to be as real as possible, and this is about as real as it comes. You have a fantastic day, and remember, no matter how big or small your shop, small shop, big ideas, just get out there and build.